This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
I'm Roby Brock. Welcome to Talk Business and Politics Daily. It is Friday, July 8th. We're glad to have you with us. First up, let's check out today's top stories from around the state. In an exclusive interview with Governor Asa Hutchinson, he tells me that he's urging for calm waters in the wake of a series of killings around the country that have sparked wide outrage. 5 police officers were ambushed by snipers in Dallas on Thursday night at the end of a peaceful rally opposing police brutality tied to black citizen killings in Minnesota and Louisiana.
Well, most importantly, we need to make sure that we talk with reason and discipline as we discuss these matters, and leaders should not be encouraging and dramatizing the response beyond what it should be. The key thing here is our commitment to the rule of law.
Earlier this week, one pro-medical marijuana group successfully qualified for the November ballot. A second medical marijuana group has also turned in petition signatures. Additionally, supporters of a casino proposal and a tort reform measure related to nursing homes turned in signatures in an effort to qualify. And an effort to shorten term limits failed to turn in signatures. Tyson Foods moved 100 employees into its new downtown Springdale office space in the old Jones Truck Line building. With the multi-million-dollar renovation complete, another 200 employees will eventually move in. The JTL building houses the company store as well as the credit, accounts receivable, and billing departments of Tyson Foods, and it consolidates the Northwest Arkansas live production operations. And you can keep up with those top stories and others on our website at talkbusiness.net. After this break, Dr. Greg Bledsoe, the state Surgeon General, joins us to talk about Arkansas Works and some additional health care policy in the state. We'll run through some big numbers of the week and a preview of our weekend edition of Talk Business and Politics. We're back after this.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Arkansas's most abundant natural resource provides the core asset for Deltic Timber Corporation. In addition to the sustainable yield stewardship of its well-stocked timberlands, Deltic adds value by integrating its efficient wood products manufacturing facilities, as well as through planned development of commercial and residential real estate. Deltic Timber Corporation, creating value for a growing Arkansas.
Dr. Greg Bledsoe was named Arkansas Surgeon General in 2015 when Governor Asa Hutchinson assumed office. Since he's arrived, the private option has been transformed into Arkansas Works. It's been a little bit of a topic of conversation over the last year plus. Welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about the private option and Arkansas Works. It's still the private option until the name changes, I think, when the feds sign off on this waiver. Our latest Talk Business and Politics poll shows some widespread support for the private option, 45 to 25%. Why do you think public opinion shifted on that?
Well, I think the governor did a good job of laying out a niche where he could say he's not a fan of the federal legislation, the Affordable Care Act, but he wants to carve out a pragmatic response to it. And he did a good job of laying out that message, and I think people have responded to it.
Yeah. All right, let's hit a couple other topics here that are going on right now. We have an opioid epidemic, not only in Arkansas, but really across the nation right now. Do we need more state funding for that?
Well, we certainly need a coordinated response to it. I mean, the opioid epidemic is absolutely concerning. This is not something that is made up. This is something that's really very demonstrated clearly in the data that we're seeing. And this has been going on for a long time. I mean, this was, in my opinion, started by some well-meaning but poorly thought out federal legislation and pushed because of regulations at the federal level. And what happened was that physicians and other clinicians were unfortunately pressured to really open the floodgates on some of these narcotics. People who were suffering in pain were told that they weren't as addictive as they turned out to be, and we had this increased spike of addictions and the problems with the addictions. And now we're trying to catch up and try to help people with, coming to terms with how to get them off of these medicines, and how to respond as a public to this crisis. But it is a very serious thing. It's tremendously serious in our state, where we've seen a climb of overdoses and deaths from opiates over the last 5 to 6 years. And absolutely, we need a coordinated response, and probably that's going to come with, or have to come with, some increased funding, but we'll see what the legislature says.
2017 session, that'll be a topic.
Absolutely.
All right, telemedicine, another potential topic in
Sure.
2017. We've seen the state medical board grapple with this issue a little bit. Are you for or against more telemedicine?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of being for or against. I'm always going to side on the side of patients and getting increased patient access and increased better quality care for patients. But what I think we have to balance is access to telemedicine and maintaining the primary care doctor within that loop of telemedicine in an appropriate way. A lot of the initiatives that I've seen are doing a better job of coordinating patients with their primary care doctors and a face-to-face caregiver. And I think as long as we continue to do that, we're going to see an increase in the use of telemedicine in the state. And certainly the governor is very much in favor of expanding the use of telemedicine so that we can better serve all of our clients, citizens in the state, especially those in rural Arkansas.
Proceed with caution, proceed responsibly.
Yeah,
sort of
absolutely.
All right, last question for you. Medical marijuana, again, another
Sure.
Poll question that we've asked. It looks like there will be at least one, if not two, medical marijuana ballots or measures on the ballot in November. What's your position on medical marijuana?
Well, it's very difficult because, the fact of the matter is that people are suffering, and there are people who have chronic pain issues. And of course, the opiate issue coordinates very tightly with the medical marijuana issue, because some people think that if they could have access to medical marijuana, maybe they could get off their opioids. I'm not necessarily sure that's the case. And what concerns me is that a lot of the discussion is centered on really not accurate information. A lot of the research that's been done on medical marijuana doesn't show that it's effective except in very narrow cases of certain types of chronic pain. And in places where the legislation has actually been passed in other states, it's being used to treat things like PTSD and all sorts of forms of anxiety, and that's never been shown to be a good use of medical marijuana. I think it's going to continue to be contentious. The governor has publicly said he's not in favor of expanding the use of marijuana in our state, and I think that's a very wise position until the research really catches up to see what we're dealing with here with medical marijuana, because it means different things to different people.
Yeah, and we may have to have another discussion after November, depending
Yes,
on the outcome of the
that's
vote
exactly
in
right.
terms of how to proceed on that.
That's
All right,
exactly right.
Dr. Greg Bledsoe, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Roby. Thanks for
Appreciate
having
you.
me.
All right. A quick break, and we're back with a look at the big three, as in 3 big numbers that mattered this week, and later our weekend preview. What can you expect on the broadcast edition of Talk Business and Politics this weekend?
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
As Arkansas's population grows, so do our energy demands. But with the right mix of resources, reliable, affordable power will always be a reality. These resources are all around us in our rivers, blowing through our trees, even right below our feet. The answer isn't focusing on one resource, it's embracing them all. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas know that a balanced approach to power builds our communities and powers our dreams. Visit themixmatters.com and see why there's power in knowledge.
Numbers, numbers, numbers. We got a bunch of them in our daily and weekly reporting on business and politics at talkbusiness.net, but it's important to make sure that the numbers make sense to you. So every week we're going to pick 3 numbers that mattered the most, and I'm going to break them down for you with some proper context. Let's go inside the numbers for this week. 800, that's the number of products pitched last week at Walmart's Manufacturing Summit in Northwest Arkansas. 450 entrepreneurs from all over the world showed up for the open call to meet with Walmart buyers and executives. Walmart told all of them that their 800 products would be placed on Walmart.com, although there were a few caveats. 2.8%. That is the lowest metropolitan unemployment rate in the state. It is from the Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers metropolitan area in Northwest Arkansas. Now that May figure is actually a little higher than a month ago. In Little Rock, the local jobless rate was 3.4%. Pine Bluff had the highest rate in the state at 5.2%, and the state jobless rate for May was 3.8%. 117,500, that's the number of Arkansans working in the travel and tourism sector in the natural state as of May this year. And that is a new record for the industry. So as the summer vacation season continues, or if those low gas prices are keeping a little extra change in your pocket, take an extra night out to dine out, or maybe a weekend mini vacations in your future. You can catch these numbers and many more through our daily reporting at talkbusiness.net. Stay with us after the break. We'll be back with a preview of this weekend's Talk Business and Politics TV show.
Circuits turn on the lights by making a connection, by closing the loop. At Entergy, we believe our economy is circular too. What you put in comes back. So we invest billions in new infrastructure, which helps attract new industry, which helps create new jobs. We partner with local communities to electrify the economy. And together, we power life. Entergy.
At Deltic Timber Corporation, we believe in the responsible creation of communities, in the development of neighborhoods that bring convenience and comfort to life, while respecting the beauty and delicacy of nature. Like the harmonious balance of environment and expansion found in the thriving communities of Chenal Valley and Chenal Downs in Little Rock and Red Oak Ridge in Hot Springs. Because the best communities in the natural state are the ones that help keep it that way.
On Sundays at 9:30 a.m. in Central Arkansas on KTV Channel 7 and 10 a.m. on KAIT's NBC affiliate in Northeast Arkansas, you can catch Talk Business and Politics weekly broadcast program. Here's a preview of who and what is on this week's show. Governor Asa Hutchinson responds to the violent shootings in Minnesota, Baton Rouge, and Dallas. He's also headed for Europe, then to the National GOP Convention. What business and politics can we expect over the next 2 weeks? My exclusive interview with the governor is coming up. We cap off a busy week of hyper-partisan political warfare. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, the FBI investigation, congressional hearings. Our Talk Politics Roundtable includes Talk Business and Politics contributors Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Michael Cook. And we'll go inside the numbers for 3 big numbers that mattered this week. So be sure to tune in to KATV Channel 7 in Central Arkansas at 9:30 on Sunday morning and 10 a.m. on KAIT's NBC affiliate in Northeast Arkansas to catch those interviews and more. That's all for this edition of Talk Business and Politics Daily. Don't forget to check out the latest news on our website at talkbusiness.net. You can follow us on Twitter at TB Arkansas or on Facebook or LinkedIn. Download our podcast through the iTunes Store or through Stitcher. Just plug in Talk Business and Politics to find us and follow. Also, if you want to receive our daily email newsletters, they're free and you can receive them every morning in your inbox before 7 a.m. Just email me at roby@talkbusiness.net and I'll sign you up. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you this Sunday and we'll be back here on Monday with John Brummett and a whole new week of guests on Talk Business and Politics Daily. Until then, take care.